Okay, let's just dive right into this explainer. Today, we're looking at the incredible evolution of the Odd Ones Out. We're going to explore how a totally regular guy named James Rallison took his everyday anxieties and, some pretty simple doodles and transformed them into an absolutely staggering digital phenomenon.
So how exactly did a teenager drawing simple bubble comics build a multi-million-dollar animation empire? I love this question because it really sets up the ultimate underdog story. It's about a kid who simply wouldn't give up on sharing his odd, kind of awkward perspective with the world. We're talking a massive journey here, from drawing barely legible webcomics in his bedroom to literally executive producing a global Netflix series.
Just to put things into perspective right off the bat, James currently has over 20.7 million subscribers, and that's just on his main YouTube channel alone. I mean, that number is just massive. It's actually hard to wrap your head around, and it really proves the immense scale of his success. Plus, that's not even counting his second channel, his best-selling books, or his television viewers.
Let's jump right into Section 1, the Marshmallow Comic Origins.
Now, obviously, James didn't just start at the top. He began posting to Tumblr back in June 2012. But by December of that exact same year, he hit this severe drop in motivation. He could honestly barely force himself to make even a single comic. But, instead of just walking away and quitting, he took a step back. In April 2013, he made this absolutely crucial pivot that essentially saved his entire comic career.
And this just goes to show you really don't need to be a masterful, technically perfect artist to succeed. Actually, scratch that. Sometimes simpler is way better. James ditched his early, much more complicated character designs and shifted to these simple, round, marshmallow people. And this minimalistic approach, it was a game changer. It stripped away all the visual clutter and made his characters infinitely more relatable to his readers.
So, with his Tumblr following slowly growing to around 50,000, James was watching other animated storytellers on YouTube, creators like TheOdd1sOut, right? And he had this famously naive thought. I could probably do this. I mean, it can't be that hard, right? I just love that. That single, slightly overly optimistic thought is exactly what pushed him to take a massive leap and upload his very first YouTube video in August 2014.
Moving right along to Section 2, the Fast Food Catalyst.
Now, what truly launched his breakthrough era wasn't some grand, epic fantasy story. No, it was a totally mundane, minimum-wage job that provided the absolute perfect fuel for his storytelling. Welcome to Subway. You see, James didn't invent fantastical worlds to capture an audience. He just found the humor in everyday situations. Just working the counter at a famous sandwich shop, observing human behavior in all its weird, highly frustrating glory. He ended up captivating millions just by detailing the anatomy of an annoying customer. He hilariously broke down these real-life interactions into this sort of step-by-step guide of retail frustration. I mean, whether it was customers asking for a super messy meatball sub on flatbread or handing over hopelessly incomplete order lists, or my personal favorite, a guy just aggressively yelling onions when politely asked for clarification. He made us all feel the pain and the absolute comedy of the service industry. And of course, to survive the sheer boredom of those agonizingly slow shifts, he and his coworkers invented these absurd Subway games just to pass the time. We're talking about things like guessing the sandwich, or seeing how long you could literally survive in the walk-in freezer, which, by the way, James apparently set a record of 1 full hour in. These little details perfectly anchored his staggering video numbers in completely human, incredibly relatable teenage boredom. But, this magic of the mundane wasn't always just about comedy. It was deeply grounded in real humanity. Anyone who's worked in retail knows you see people at their absolute best and their absolute worst. The sources share this incredibly poignant memory where a customer came into the shop who had recently lost her mother and had literally just found out her father passed away too. James watched his coworker step right in to console the grieving stranger right there at the counter. And it's exactly this. His willingness to share both the absurd, goofy annoyances and these incredibly raw, deeply human moments like consoling a stranger that created such a genuine bond with his viewers. It made people feel like they actually truly knew him. Which brings us to Section 3, Breaking the YouTube Algorithm.
So, exactly how fast did this unique brand of relatability translate into explosive growth? Well, the year 2016 was absolute insanity for him. In February, an ASMR video pushed him over the 100,000 subscriber mark. Then, literally just 1 month later, his first Subway video hit 1 million views. And by August of that exact same year, the channel had skyrocketed to 1 million subscribers.
Now, animation notoriously struggles against YouTube's algorithm because, let's face it, it takes forever to produce. The platform usually rewards daily, rapid-fire uploads. Yet James completely broke the mold here. He went from 400,000 subscribers in April to a solid million by July. It just proves that high-quality, highly relatable storytelling can absolutely conquer the algorithm.
And that momentum, it never stopped. Today he sits at over 5.7 billion, yes, billion with a B, total video views across his main channel. His second Subway video, the one detailing even more of those annoying customer interactions we talked about, it actually continues to reign as his most viewed video ever.
All right, let's wrap this up with Section 4, Expanding the Odd Empire. So James successfully translated this massive digital footprint into a physical mainstream media empire. His simple little marshmallow people thrived way beyond the confines of a YouTube screen. I mean, he released 2 books that became New York Times bestsellers, selling over 1 million copies. He launched incredibly successful board games, a mobile game called Let's Bounce, and of course, a major television series.
The launch of his show, Oddballs, on Netflix was just a monumental milestone. It was co-created with veteran TV writer Ethan Banville and debuted back in October 2022. Honestly, just think about that trajectory for a second. A webcomic started by an unmotivated 16-year-old on Tumblr was now a fully produced animated series, and it was being broadcast into living rooms in 192 countries worldwide. With James himself voicing the main character, it's incredible.
It's almost funny to think back on his original life plan. He initially went to college with the dream of becoming a math teacher, but, well, he dropped out just a semester and a half in. Turns out, dropping out to draw bubble people was probably the most brilliant math equation James Rallison ever solved. He literally calculated his way to becoming the top storytime animator on the entire internet.
So I'll leave you with this thought to cap off our explainer today. We all have awkward moments, right? Mundane jobs, weird, funny observations about life. If James could take the frustration of working at a sandwich shop and a handful of marshmallow doodles and turn that into a global empire, what's stopping you? Your story has value, and sometimes the simplest, most honest way of telling it is exactly what the rest of the world is waiting to see.